everybody. Let me know if you can see me. Oh, it's gonna be a day, isn't it? Um, we're gonna take a second and make sure that everybody can find me, that things are as they should be. My goodness, it is warm in here today. All right. So we'll cut all this out for the replay because y'all don't need to see me floofing my hair and stuff. Is anybody with me live? Can anybody see me? Do me a favor, put in the comments where you're from and what you're drinking this morning or this afternoon or whenever and wherever you are. Yay. Yay! Shannon's here. She can see me. Fabulous. That means that, I have not completely bombed it. Would you believe that Facebook has changed buttons yet again? So I went to go live from where I typically go, and there were no buttons there. It would let me post a picture, and I was like, well, a picture doesn't talk to people, so that's not going to be particularly helpful. Now, is it? All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Chronic Pain Solution. I will be your guide this week. My name is Amy Eicher, and I am a chronic pain coach, best-selling author, and general neurospicy kind of gal. A lot of people want to know what my credentials are and why you should bother listening to me, so I think we're just going to quickly start with that. And I'm going to say, hi, my name is Amy. I have experienced 20 years of chronic pain, been almost 10 years out of pain, like no more of the chronic pain that was crippling and horrible and awful. And I got long COVID 2 years ago, so now I am someone that experiences disability through long COVID. I have 3 different varying degrees from college. I have a master's. I've been told my IQ is very high. I'm neurospicy, so I like to learn things. I'm a PTA. I have been invited to participate in research studies and a variety of different things with colleagues in the pain space. So they deem me as somebody that should be listened to as a person with lived experience and a person that can narrow the research down into understandable ways that make it applicable to you and me, the people experiencing pain. So if that's enough for you to listen, I remind you it's free. All you have to do is listen, and then you can decide whether or not you think what I have to say is relevant to you. So so that answers the question, I think, why should I tell you? I would say it's because I was in pain for 20 years, applied all of these things, and now I'm not in pain, so I can help you get there. Others would say it's because I've done hundreds of hours of continuing education. Others would say I'm not, because I'm not an MD. So you get to decide for you, and I'm totally okay with any of that. All right, so I call it the Chronic Pain Solution because I am going to present to you a way to solve the suffering from your chronic pain. Now, many of you are new to me, so welcome. I'm glad that you're here. And I want to remind you that I am talking mainly about musculoskeletal pain. So pain in your muscles, joints, bones, that kind of stuff. While this may also be applicable to people suffering from autoimmune issues and other types of pain, I would say that it is, this information is relevant to anybody suffering from chronic pain, but is it going to get rid of your cancer pain? No. Is it going to get rid of, pain from your autoimmune disease? Get rid of? Well, no. But it will help you suffer less and live a life that is more like what you want. So, where we are headed this week is to give you the fundamentals of the things that you need to know about chronic pain so that you can stop suffering and live the life that you want. Almost all of you entering the group in the last week and a half have said you just want your life back in some variety or another. You want to live, you want to walk, you want to be with your friends, you want to be with your grandkids, you want to do the things that you want to do and stop having to plan because of the pain. I get it. I understand. I've been there, and what I would like for you to do is to open up your mind and just walk with me this week and consider the things that I have to say and consider how with this information you might actually be able to do those things that you want. All right? Okay. So if you guys would do me a favor, let me know where you are watching from. I have seen a couple of you pop in and say hello, but let me know where you're watching from. Click the like button and tag a friend. Facebook decides whether or not they're going to let the rest of your friends in the group see this based on how many people comment, like, and share. It's not me, it's Facebook, but it would be great if you could do those things for me. And Rebecca and Shannon, am I coming through spotty? Because I'm super broken on my end. So am I coming through clear with you guys? And I bet Shannon's got snow in Minnesota and I don't have it here. And for that, I am sad. Oh, hey, Georgie Dottie. I'm going to assume it's Dottie that I'm speaking with, but if it's both of you, hello. Welcome to from Massachusetts. All right, so we've dealt with who I am, why you might want to listen to me. We've done the Facebooky things. We've said hello. Rebecca says I'm coming through clear. Okay, so little bit, yay to lots of snow. We had a little bit of snow here in Normal, Illinois, and it's almost gone already, which makes me very sad. Okay, housekeeping. I'm going to go pretty quick. I know that, and I'm sorry. Luckily, you can watch this on replay and slow me down if you need to. Please, please, please ask your questions in the comments. If I don't get to them within the body of this live, I will come back. I'll answer them. Friday, we're doing nothing but question and answer on everything I've talked about this week. So use the comment section. I will come back and read every single comment, and I will respond to them after I'm done if I don't happen to see it while I'm talking live. All right. This week, there will be homework assignments at the end of every day. If you do your homework every day, Monday through Thursday, if you fill every single homework assignment out, which will drop in the group at 11:15 Central Standard Time, you will be put into a drawing for my 6-month flagship course called Moving Beyond Pain. So I highly suggest, if you want an opportunity for, discounted, heavily discounted things, do your homework every day. Also, for every time you answer a question or you do the things that are suggested in your evening emails, you will get an entrance in a drawing that I will do Tuesday through Friday for free stuff that I will be giving away. So it benefits you to ask questions, to comment, to share, to like, to do those things, because I will be entering you for free prizes, because I like free prizes, and I think they're fun. So yeah. So do you like free prizes? Good God. Free prizes. It's been that kind of day, folks. The dog threw up all over the house before we started. The internet wouldn't go on. It's a thing, I'm telling you. Hi, Moira. I love your name, and you are in Southeast England. I think I would like to be in Southeast England right now. I hope that you are having a good afternoon. Okay, I've rambled long enough. Let's talk about why you're still in pain. That's the topic for today, right? So, we're talking about musculoskeletal pain. But if you are joining us and you have EDS, MS, IBS, osteoarthritis, neuropathy, headaches, pelvic pain, chronic pain, long COVID, and more, I want you to remind you that I am speaking generally this week. I can get more specific in a one-on-one with you, but I cannot get more specific in a generalized presentation like this. So please forgive me. Because I want to help you specifically, but I've got to give the information generally. All right. Who is this workshop for? It is for those of you that are ready to be open-minded about what chronic pain is and what it isn't. It's for people that have been in pain for 6 months or more with no red flags, meaning you know that your pain is not coming from cancer or a tumor or fractures or some kind of disease. You're ready to learn because we love learning in this group here. And you understand that you're going to need to adapt this generalized information to your specific information. All right. Who is this workshop not for? If you are looking for me to tell you the perfect exercise for you to do, any movement that you will do, there's the answer. That's it. There is no perfect exercise to get rid of your pain, though I wish that there was. If you are looking for the singular one fix, the perfect pill, the perfect anything, I don't have that. You're going to be really disappointed and really frustrated. So this will not be a quick fix workshop. That's why it's 5 days long. If you are looking for somebody to like fix you, like you want me to fix you, I also can't do that. I can give you tons of information. I can tell you how to help and improve your situation, but quite honestly, there's no one that can fix you. There's no one thing, and if people are telling you that there is, they are lying to you and probably just taking your money. And the last thing is, this is my day job. This is my full-time job. I am a chronic pain coach full-time. If you are going to be offended because I am going to tell you about things that I also do that cost money, then this workshop is probably going to frustrate you. Oh, look, there's the cat. There's cats all over the place today. But yeah, so if you're going to be offended that I tell you about some of the things that I do in addition to the free workshop that costs money and that's going to offend you, just you're welcome to leave. It's okay. You just made a mistake. Don't worry about it. But this information that is coming to you this week in this workshop is everything that you need to do it yourself. You can DIY your solution to chronic pain from this workshop. I don't hold anything back because I think that's mean. So the workshop is complete in and of itself. Most people just usually want more guidance than the workshop provides. So I promise you, I am not holding anything back. I am giving you the fundamentals as I use them and as research tells us they are. Okay, so I am hoping that we are going to be able to discuss why you are still in pain today and that you will have a complete picture of what the answer to that is by the time that I am done in about 45 minutes. What I want you to be thinking about is, what do you want from our time together this week? I think that's a really important question because you saw something that caused you to sign up for this. And I'm guessing you had a little bit of hope that I might have something useful for you, which we're both hoping is true. But what is it that you want from this week, right? Okay. So I'm going to give you the quickest version of my story that I can. If you are interested in more, I wrote my memoir, Restoring Venus. It's available on Amazon. It is my entire story of like what happened, how it felt, and the non-specified how I got out of it, like how I started getting out of pain. So if you want the longer version, you can pick that up on Amazon. All right. In 1992, I was in Normal, Illinois, which is where I am now, swimming for Illinois State University as a Division I swimmer and had the very real possibility of Olympic trials in my future. One day in the fall, I was swimming during practice. I heard a pop. I couldn't move. My back and my legs hurt. And that would be the start of 20 years of disabling, life-altering, suicide-wanting pain that would last for 20 years. Sometimes it was okay-ish and manageable. Other times I wanted to cut my limb off. Sometimes I wished I was paralyzed. The worst of the worst days, I wish I was dead and I just wouldn't wake up. And by the time 2010 came around, I was a shell of the woman that I used to be. I had no life. I had no hope. There was nothing I enjoyed. I had a list of don'ts, things that I wasn't supposed to do that were infinitely greater than the things that I could do. And I was on far more medication than any human should be on. After 20 years and a crap ton of money, endless failed interventions, and a poorly advised SI joint surgery, I was still in pain. I followed all the rules. I did all the right things. I checked all of the boxes of everything my medical professionals told me to do, and I was still in pain. In 2014, 3 years after my surgery, the tides finally started to turn. I read the book Explain Pain, and I started dealing with some deeper issues. As I started to change the way that I lived my life, the way that I felt about my body, the way that I interacted with it, the role that I took in my own care and in my own healing from suffering, I would find that my pain became smaller and smaller as my life got bigger and bigger. I finally got to the place where I could do anything I wanted, and it was fantastic. Having the freedom of the body and the life that I wanted was amazing. And then in December of 2021, I got COVID, and my journey with long COVID started. I will tell you that right now, as of January 2024, I still suffer from this extreme fatigue of COVID. Please forgive me if my brain shorts out, because that still happens. But I use every single tool that I teach about to manage my long COVID. And while I do not have the ability to do anything I want, there is very little that I can't do if I use tools. So my life is slow and a lot smaller, but it is working, and I am not suffering with long COVID. It's just something that I have and is part of my life. And I think that is a really important thing to note, that I have accepted that I have certain limitations and I'm not fighting them anymore like I did when I was in chronic pain. So did you know that 1 in 5 people in the first world suffer from chronic musculoskeletal pain? Did you realize that? Did you know that you're not alone? Because I think most people think that they are wildly alone and like they're the only ones suffering like they are. So do me a favor, put a yes or a no in the comments. Did you know that 1 in 5 people suffers from chronic pain in the first world? I was astounded by that. More astounding is that for those of us in the US, chronic pain affects more people and has a greater economic cost than heart disease, diabetes, and cancer combined. So chronic pain is a very real problem. Current research, so research that's being done today, takes an average of 17 years to make an appearance in the world in which we see doctors. And it takes even longer to get into schooling. Well, one last fact. Okay, so the average, so we're answering the question, why do I hurt? Right? Like that's the question we're answering today. And I'm telling you, lots of people suffer from it. It takes an average of 17 years for current research to get to doctors. And the average number of hours on pain education that is given in U.S. medical schools is 11. So more people suffer from chronic pain than heart disease, diabetes, and cancer combined. And the average medical school spends 11 hours on chronic pain. Yipe. Basically, that's like one, the most common number, the most common number of hours in U.S. medical schools on chronic pain is 4 hours. So basically one class. You get one, not a whole semester, but you get one class out of a semester on what chronic pain is and how it needs to be treated. This is why we have a problem. This is why we have a problem. So what do they get taught in school? Everything that you have experienced. Our medical system is based on your tissue hurts or is broken, and these are the things that we're going to do to fix it. And it doesn't matter that no tissue hurts, no tissue is broken for 20 years. That's not a thing. Unless there is a very serious underlying condition that causes your body to not heal, which is a problem. But the problem is we're treating chronic pain as though it's acute pain. And that's the only way that our medical systems have been taught to deal with this, which is why you are still suffering. It is because we are in a system where we are told there's nothing more we can do for you because your medical team hasn't been educated on the things that are out there. Explain Pain and the work of Lorimer Moseley and David Butler and Adrian Lau has been out there for 20 years. But since it takes an average of 17, that means the initial work that they did is just starting to reach our doctors. And let me tell you, the research has come a long way in 25 years. We know more now than we did when we started, and it's a bit of a problem. So when we look at the outdated understanding of pain, we have to do a small history lesson. And the not knowing, our medical systems not knowing and not being up to date is really why we are still hurting, because we're treating the wrong things. We're treating tissue when we should be treating the whole person and their nervous system. And we're going to talk about that throughout the week and what that means. But the problem is we're treating a tissue that is no longer broken or torn or damaged, and we're treating it like it is an acute injury. So roughly 400 years ago, this guy named René Descartes theorized that the body was more like a machine and that pain was a disturbance in the tissue. And it was passed along nerve fibers, and then this disturbance reached the brain, set off a bell, if you will, and the bell rang in the area of pain, where you're experiencing the pain. So René Descartes, 400 years ago, surmised that pain was a very physical, technical problem. You had an owie here, it traveled along the pain fibers, and then it basically went from a spiritual experience to a physical and mechanical experience, and the cure for pain could be found by finding the offending tissues and healing them. Dramatic pause, because that's essentially how we still treat pain, based on a 400-year-old model. Is anybody loving that? Because I'm not loving that. You loving that? 400-year-old model for pain. We're machines and we just need to find the offending tissue and fix it. That didn't work for me. Is that working for you guys? Okay. I'm going to guess no because you're here. So all of the interventions that you and I have been using, medication, injections, physical therapy, massage therapy, manipulations from like a chiropractor or a DO, surgeries, all of these things are done to address mechanical issues like we're a car. And we are so not cars. We're not cars at all. So if the problem isn't just tissue, which I'm saying research says chronic pain is not about the tissue, it is really about the nervous system. If that is the case, that means the doctors that say there's nothing else they can do for us are like right and wrong. They're right that there's nothing else they can do, but that doesn't mean there's nothing else we can do. And that's where I think the hope is for each and every one of you listening to this presentation this week. The doctors get to help us by making sure that nothing dangerous is happening. They get to make sure that nothing's broken. Indulge me in a quick story here, if you will. But around Thanksgiving, I tripped over my own 2 feet in my basement and I took a really hard fall. And a couple weeks later, things were still hurting a lot. And so I went to get an imaging to make sure nothing was broken. Turns out nothing's broken, but my arm still feels bad. We're just going to go with bad. I have good days and I have bad days, but it's still hurting and it probably shouldn't be. So I probably need to I'm going to wait a few weeks and then go to the doctor. But we checked to make sure that nothing was broken. And on the x-ray, nothing's broken, which leads me to believe that it is a tissue injury, like a soft tissue injury, like muscle or ligament. And that's going to take longer than a bone to heal. So I'm going to have some discomfort with movement and load, meaning putting weight in my right arm, for a while. If we pass that 8 to 12 weeks from the spill and I'm still hurting, I need to go back for more imaging because what science tells us is that that injury should have healed by then. If not, I'll go in for more investigation, right? So doctors are very important on our journey. The medications that we take can really help some of these nervous system things, but they're not helping to heal tissue. They're just helping us to pass time, right? And I want you to know that I think the things that our doctors do are very important. I think the medications that we take can be very important. All of that is part of a comprehensive plan. The stuff that I'm teaching you about this week is the stuff that comes after that's not enough. Okay, I'm not saying drop that. I'm saying let's add this. Okay, so through the through my surgery in 2010, I really believed in this mechanical 400-year-old explanation of pain, and I felt so lost trying to figure things out on my own. It was easier to rely on the doctors and healthcare professionals that I trusted and to believe that they had an answer on how to fix it. But I will tell you, I was devastated. I was devastated when I was told I was going to have this surgery and I would be pain-free, and I was still in a lot of pain. I was still in disabling amounts of pain that caused me to still be on pain medication. And I was told that I wasn't going to have to worry about that anymore because we were fixing this unstable pelvis of mine. Well, I have 5 screws in my pelvis, and that wasn't enough to stop the pain. It did stop the movement, but it didn't stop the pain. That's when I read the book Explain Pain, and I got so angry at all of the information that I threw it against the wall. Thanks, Christy. Learning that chronic pain was more about my nervous system and the way the brain interprets messages, and that pain isn't just about broken tissue just about broke me because I couldn't believe I had been in pain that long and no one had told me. Now, I will say, I get absolutely ill thinking about the amount of money I spent over those 20 years on healthcare. Money that didn't need to be spent, money that could have been spent differently. But I'm in for roughly $250,000 over the course of those 20 years. It's probably more, but I had to stop counting because I started crying. So I get what it's like to be on the verge of filing bankruptcy because of medical expenses. I get what it's like to not know if you're going to have enough for groceries or the physical therapist. I have been there financially, and I get it. I get what it's like to have to live on one salary, to not know whether or not you're going to make it to the next paycheck because of medical expenses. I do need you to know that in today's world, there are doctors and healthcare professionals out there that are chronic pain literate. It just takes a little bit of work to find them. All right. So you say, well, Amy, if pain isn't what Rene Descartes said 400 years ago, what is it? What is pain then? And I'm going to suggest to you that chronic pain is a multifactorial experience. You already know this. You all express it in the way that you talk about your pain. It affects your lives. It affects your livelihood. It affects your relationships, right? It affects the way that you feel about yourself. It's emotional. It's social. It's chemical. It's biological. It is all of those things. And you're right. Pain affects all of you, the totality of you. So if we're only treating your tissues, we're missing 75% of the other stuff that is involved in pain. So it's no wonder that we're not getting better. I have a lot of people say, so Amy, are you saying that pain is it made up? Is it in my head? Oh, heavens, no. Your brain is part of your nervous system and it resides in your head. So that's about as close to it's in your head as I can get. If your brain were located in your left hand, I would say, pain is in your left hand. But pain is no more in your brain than breathing, your heart beating, feeling hungry. Like all of those things are technically in your head too, because that's where your brain is located. So please understand, I am not saying that pain is in your head and that it's made up. I was watching the last Harry Potter recently, and I love when Harry says to Dumbledore, he says, Professor Dumbledore, is this all in my head? When he's like in between the death scene and he's at the like really white King's Crossing. And Dumbledore basically laughs at him and is like, oh, of course it's in your head, Harry. But why would that mean it's not real? That is exactly what I'm saying about pain. Your pain that comes because you have a brain is 1,000% real. If you didn't have a brain and a nervous system, you wouldn't experience pain. You'd also be dead. So that would be a problem. Maybe let's not do that, right? Okay. So learning that pain is about all of these things and not just your tissue is one of the best ways that you can begin to solve your own chronic pain problem. So that is the first step on our path to a chronic pain solution, is that understanding what chronic pain really is actually helps your pain because it's less scary that way. And because you now know that it's also about the way that you feel about things, the way you live in your life, the way that you approach movement, and all of those other things, that means you've got many more ways to solve this chronic pain than you did than you did 30 minutes ago. So all of those are good things. Now, we're going to take a little bit of time and get a little sciencey, so bear with me. And I'm going to explain the three major types of pain as you would hear doctors behind closed doors talk about it, because I think that that's really important, and I think it's a really important part of understanding why we're still in pain. Okay, so here we go. Nociceptive pain. Noci basically means noxious, icky, bad. Okay, so nociceptive pain, if you smash your finger with a hammer, that is nociceptive pain. Rheumatoid arthritis, nociceptive pain. Broken bones, tendinosis. Those are all nociceptive pains. Osteoarthritis, nociceptive pain. Okay? Means it's pain from owie. That's about as simple as I can make it. Pain from owie. Neuropathic pain means pain coming from an injury to nerve or something that is affecting your nerve. So a pinched nerve, a smooshed nerve. So, you fall asleep on your arm and then you have that like dead arm feeling, right? You're like, is it my hand, right? And then you get all the pins and needles. So that is an example of a squished nerve that has changed the sensation to your hand. Nociceptive pain. Diabetic neuropathy is nociceptive pain. Trigeminal neuralgia, pain, the burning, awful facial pain that people can get, that is neuropathic pain. It is pain that comes because something has happened to a nerve in your system. Sciatic pain can be, you ready? It can be nociceptive, because of arthritis. It could be nocipathic because the sciatic nerve is pinched somewhere. Or it can be the third kind, which is most of us with chronic pain, is nociplastic pain. Recently, that has become its own diagnosis, and it's now called primary pain. Okay, so it is the reason for the pain. So when you're looking for a reason, why do I still hurt? The answer to that is most often nociplastic pain. Noci, I just said, means irritating, awful, angry. Plastic means it can change. Okay? How do you know if it's nociplastic pain? Great question. Usually there is no clear evidence of damage. So you're not going to see lesions. You're not going to see breaks. You're not going to see torn tissue. This is the classic story of, but Amy, I had an MRI and they said there was nothing to write home about. That's a great indication that this is nociplastic pain. It is pain that lasts beyond normal tissue healing times because broken tissues have normal expected healing times, and a little bit on the inside or outside of that probably isn't a big deal. But I'm going to say, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years of pain, yeah, that's not normal. That's not normal, and that's well past tissue healing time. Other things that fall under nociplastic pain: SI joint pain, migraines, headaches. I'm amending that to headaches. Irritable bowel syndrome, chronic low back pain, chronic neck pain. These are things that fall under nociplastic pain and are a sign that there is more that can be done for your pain than you have been led to believe, which is really, really good. Now, you can have that third type of pain, nociplastic pain, and still have the other two. It's not a singular diagnosis. It's not like you have nociplastic pain and then nothing else, okay? So it's those things that we keep screaming at doctors, right? We know that there's something else wrong, and we keep saying, we know there's something else wrong. Please look, please look, please look. Well, if they've looked and we've addressed the tissues and there's really nothing to write home about, the answer is nociplastic pain. And that means we need to treat a nervous system, not a specific tissue. Now, the good news is the things that we're doing that are helping with our pain, regardless of what it's been called, will continue to keep providing relief. And that's important. But those things providing relief, if they haven't fixed it yet and you're still suffering, we need something different. All right? But I want you to know how right you are. You are right that something else is going on, something that hasn't been addressed, something that hasn't been caught, something that hasn't been talked about, and that something is that nociplastic pain. So you were right. The computer that operates your body, that operates who you are, you listened to it, and you were right. There is more going on than this tissue they keep trying to fix. It's your nervous system. We need to address the whole of you. We can use medications and interventions that help calm symptoms, and that's super important. But it's not the end. If it's not been enough to solve it by today, it's not going to be doing more of the same thing and expecting different results. I'm pretty sure we call that insanity. So we got to do something else. So why do you hurt? Well, in general, if you've had all the scans and you've been through all the doctors and you've done all the things, and what they're telling you is they can't find anything and they don't know why nothing's working, I would bet dollars to donuts you've got nociplastic pain, and we need to start treating your nervous system and not just the tissue. When I say we need to treat the nervous system, really what I'm saying is we need to treat you. We need to treat you, the person. We need to treat Moira and Shannon and Rebecca and Gail and Amy and Keith. We need to treat the person, because your nervous system is different than my nervous system. And things that will work for me might not work for you. And that's why we end up in support groups where people are like, you need to do this because it worked for me. You need to do that because it worked for my cousin. You need to, right? You get like the yoga and the essential oils and the going gluten-free and the watching what you eat and walking 10,000 steps a day, right? Like different things work for different people. And that's because our nervous systems are different, our values are different, and who we are as people are different. The principles are the same, but the way that we apply them are wildly individual. And we're going to continue to talk about that through this week. I hope that I've given you a lot to think about today, that when we ask the question, why am I still in pain? The answer is really because our medical system is behind. Because we have an epidemic of chronic pain and an entire world of healthcare professionals that want to help but do not have enough resources, because the information that I and other coaches like me and other people that are chronic pain informed are sharing wildly across the internet and social media, it's not in our schools yet. It's not getting to the people that treat us. And so just like you guys already know, we've got to turn to other places to get more information. All of this is information you can look up on research sites and in a million places. It's where I started. And then I started taking classes with people that talked about these things. And that was like 11 years ago, and I just haven't stopped because I adore learning and I love how this field is evolving. But we have psychologists that are taking a pain-centered approach. We have physical therapists and pain management doctors. And I think of Dr. David Hanscom, who was, I believe, an anesthesiologist. Well, he used to do back surgeries. That's what he did. And then he started learning about like the real science of chronic pain, and he pretty much stopped doing surgery and like is now, writing books and preaching, teaching, call it what you want, to other doctors so that they know, so that they have this information so that they can then help people and like try to help this epidemic like I am hoping for you this week. So what are you wanting from this week? That is your question that you're going to answer in your homework at 11:15 when it drops in the group. And you're going to answer that every day because you want an opportunity to win the scholarship to my 6-month program, Moving Beyond Pain. Remember, to be eligible, you got to fill it out every day. I promise the questions aren't that hard. If you are someone that likes to take notes, I should have done this at the beginning. I apologize. But saved at the top of the group, there is a place where you can download a workbook that I created just for this presentation this week. There's some extra things in there that will help you to determine whether or not you think you have nociplastic pain. They're kind of scattered throughout the workbook as we talk about different things this week. But it also gives you space to write and questions to think about because I get it. It's a lot of information presented really quickly, and sometimes we just need some space to think about it. But I do want to encourage you that the things that we will talk about this week do help. They do work. They help people. They helped me. They've helped others, and they can help you. And the biggest and most important question I want you to answer today is, what is your goal for this week? Because I believe that is one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves when we attend a workshop like this is, what do I want out of this? And then tell me so I can help you reach that goal. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about chronic pain and tissues and healing times, and we're going to answer some more of your questions. So I hope that you will join me back here at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Central Standard Time. And if not, watch the replay. Remember to type replay and let me know. Let me know that you're here. So I got through my material quicker than in the past. I'm now going to open it up to questions. If you have questions, do me a favor, put it in the chat. And I'm just going to wait a second to see what your questions are. Questions? I know there's always a lag on Facebook. How do you know if your nervous system is on high alert? That is an excellent question, Shannon. Some of the typical ways that, so there in that workbook there's a couple surveys, and they score. I put how to score them in there, and those will both indicate if you score above X number of points that your nervous system is on a high alert. Another way of saying nervous system on high alert is nociplastic pain. How do you know if you have that? So ways that you would know your nervous system is on high alert. Bright lights hurt. Loud noises hurt. You startle easily. You're having trouble digesting food. So you're having trouble going to the bathroom, either too much or too little. You tend to get headaches. You can be forgetful. Your brain is too full. You feel like you scare easy and that you're constantly like a cat on a hot tin roof. you experience a lot of anxiety, things that shouldn't hurt. So non-painful experiences like putting on clothing, like let's say you've got low back pain. Putting on jeans hurts, like it causes you physical pain. That would be abnormal. That would be the sign of your nervous system being on high alert. Things that should hurt more than expected. So you stub your toe. We all know that hurts, but like it really hurts, right? So the amount of pain that you experience from something is more than expected, is another way to tell that your nervous system is on high alert. If you feel like your pain moves from place to place, that is another sign. Pain that feels like, well, it used to be here and I used to be able to point to it and now it's kind of like here. That is another sign that your nervous system is on high alert and that you are experiencing nociplastic pain. Those are just a few, but I hope that gives a little sample. Hey, Julie says quick ways to calm the nervous system. I'm going to answer that because I think it's important. I'm going to answer it in depth on day 4. I think day 4 is our everything, like all of the things that we can do. So my go-to for calming the nervous system, whether it's anxiety or pain or like just generalized flipping outness, it's breathing. And I will explain like in depth later because it's such an unsatisfying thing to say just breathe. But here's the deal. Breathing is the quickest way to calm the nervous system, like to break into the process that is happening that you want to stop. Because if we are breathing slowly and evenly, it signals to the brain that we're safe. So I would like, so, sorry, new computer. So the quickest way to hack the nervous system is to tell yourself that you're safe, assuming that you are. Like if you're not safe, don't lie to your brain. That's mean. We shouldn't do that. But reassuring ourselves that we're equipped to deal with it. We're going to be okay. And then we're going to take slow, deep breaths. And I'm a fan of even in and out. So like 4-4 breathing, do whatever works for you. In the guides section, if you look at the top, I think on your phone, you got to hit the little 3 bars, but in the guides section, there are a variety of different breathing patterns and different nervous system hacks that you can use, but breathing is the quickest because elite athletes use it, escape artists use it. It is how we how we signal to the brain that we are okay. It cuts off fight or flight responses and it enables us to like think more clearly, because when we go into fight or flight, we also go into a different part of our brain, which is not so awesome for refined thinking. But Julie, I will talk more about that later in the week because I realized that was like a meh answer. Sandra says, is fibromyalgia the same as chronic pain? So that's like, is a golden retriever a dog? Yes, but not all dogs are golden retrievers. So fibromyalgia is a form of chronic pain that has unique characteristics to it. So it is a version of chronic pain, but it is not the only thing that chronic pain is. So I would say fibromyalgia is the golden retriever, chronic pain is the dog. Dogs are much cuter than pain. But all of the, like, everything that I'm teaching this week applies to fibromyalgia pain. Because it is part of the nervous system that fibromyalgia pain happens. It is, yes. So yes, was that clear? Did that help? Oh, Julie, you are so welcome. Anytime. You guys know I love your questions. They delight me, really. And it's way more fun to talk with you all than talk at you. I never prefer that. So when we're talking, tomorrow, please feel free to toss questions up, like, because it's more fun that way. I mean, for me. Anything else? Those were great questions. I was going to say, those of you that have been in the group for a while, you guys are like so good. I expect to see you answering other people's questions with all of the things that you have done and learned since you've been hanging around. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to be good to time because you know me, I tend to go over. But tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about your questions. And we're going to talk about some healing times. We're going to talk about why we're still hurting. And as always, we'll get into what you can do about it. But for today, I want you to think about, the history of pain that I gave today and why the system isn't working the way that you need it. And if this is true, that like 75% of the reason that you're in pain is not stuff that's covered in doctor's offices, what will you do about that? What will you do? And once again, anybody that wants to read more of my story, you can pretty much do a Google search on me and you can find a video or a podcast somewhere because I've done a ton of them and that's 100% free. Or you can pick up my book for real cheap on Amazon, and I have been told that you can read it in about 4 to 5 hours as an average reader. It's not, it's emotional, so read it with a box of tissues because I bear myself naked in that book and talk about wanting to like toss my darling daughter into a wall because her voice was hurting me. And so like, don't worry if you have thought terrible things as a mom in chronic pain. I got you. I've been there. And my daughter and I are great friends, and now that she's in her 20s, and we love each other terribly. But her younger voice was very like, oh, ear splitting, and it was not great because I had nociplastic pain, and sounds and light hurt. Yes, they did. I didn't have headaches, but sound and light were hard, man. Just out of curiosity, if you've listened to this and you think you might have nociplastic pain, can you put plastic pain? Because you can spell nociplastic if you want, but I have it auto corrects on me all the time. So tell me whether you think you've got ouchy pain, nerve pain, or plastic pain. I'm just curious what kind of makeup we've got here. All right. Look at you guys with the quick answers. Look at Rebecca spelling nociplastic right. 3 gold stars for you today, girl. Ooh, and for those of you that have been around long, you know that I am a huge mug fan. Like I have a collection of mugs downstairs, and I got a new one. It's a little late, but oh, title of book. Thank you, George. It is Restoring Venus. Hang on, I really am doing something, I promise. Here we go. That's the back of the book. Wow, I am on it today. Restoring Venus, From Pain to Possibilities. Yes, that is me on the cover. My darling friend Robin took this picture and then mocked up the background for me. She's amazing. She's an amazing artist. Plastic pain, pretty sure I should be healed up by now. Julie, I am hearing you. And you know what? Because I am holding this book, the drawing for tomorrow, for those of you making comments and doing the things, is going to be a copy of my memoir. So if you are watching on replay, you really should type some questions so you can have an opportunity to win that book. Yeah, people said nice things about it, which was nice. It's not, it's nice when you put your entire life out there naked. I mean, I figured if the inside was naked, the cover might as well be also. But restoring Venus, the Venus de Milo. Can you see her over there? Yeah, like, oh, she's down there. Yeah, it's the statue, the Venus de Milo. I'll tell the story later. Don't worry about it. Anyway, thank you all for joining me today. If you've got any more questions, post them up. If not, I will see you. Well, post them up anyway. Like, if you're wandering through your day and you're like, damn it, I wish I'd asked Amy this question, post it up. I've been trying to do more videos, like short videos with answers to questions. So post it up and I'll, I'll tag you in it if I answer it. All right. Have a beautiful day, people. I love you all. And let's take care of that plastic pain because that just sucks. Love y'all.